Good evening. Welcome back to Flying in Space with Planet Head. Tonight is December 6th, 2022, the night before I go back to my weekly work schedule. uh, to be honest, I wasn't really planning on doing a video tonight. Well, I was planning it, but I didn't really have a whole lot I was going to do. And then I just watched for the first time. I'm not into uh, um, Christmas movies at all. Um, but I was watching a top 10 list of one of my favorite streams is Wheezy Waiter, and he and his wife 2 or 3 years ago did a top 10 list of, well, they watched a bunch of Christmas movies leading up to Christmas. They do this every year, and they both recommended the movie Klaus, Klaus, and I noticed it was on Netflix. And they said it was their number one movie of the year for Christmas. And I gotta tell you, just got done watching it. I know this has nothing to do with Eve, and I'll get into Eve here in a second. Man, what a great movie! What a great movie. Um, I think that might just be. I mean, people rank The Christmas Story up there as a great movie. That is a couple other movies, but as far as Christmas goes, I think every year I think I might just sit down and watch Klaus. Just really good. I just really enjoyed that. There's an old Jim Valvano phrase, and I'm going to butcher this. If you guys are from, um, wow, that's a rabbit hole to go down to. Um, he's an old basketball coach who had cancer during his greatest speech ever. If you want to look it up, Jim Valvano, ESPN speech. If you don't know it, great speech. What he says in his speech, you've lived a great day if I remember this correctly, if you've laughed, if you've cried, and you've thought. I hope I'm getting that right. That is a great day, a good day. And man, that's a great movie. That movie made me think. I mean, just for an animated Christmas movie, wow, just a good movie. So if you guys have a chance come up for Christmas, please feel free to try that out. Let's get into Eve. So, couple things. At the end of this video, or probably the last part of it, I am going to do a little bit of research on assault ships, assault frigates. Never flown one, never really done any research on it. The closest thing that I have to knowing about assault frigates is by dying to them, and that I keep getting these darned uh, damage control units for assault ships whenever I kill stuff out here. So, yeah. So, the end of the video, I'm going to try to start doing a little bit of research on that. If you guys have any pointers you would like to do for me, but I'm just going to bring up, I have actually skilled in, I'm pretty sure into two of them. So I want to start trying those out here. I can't build them yet. You know how I like to build ships. I did not build my cheetah that I have, and I will be using the assault ship. I will have to buy one of those this week to try it out. But I want to mess around with those for a little while, and I'm going to do my initial research tonight. That said, a couple quick things to go over. I really wasn't planning on doing a video, and then my brain started going. Um, actually, earlier today was great. I was playing, and in the middle of playing, I got into a great conversation with a guy on our Five Bones channel. And then also at the same time, in local, one of the guys who watches the channel moved out here and he was telling me he was trying out, he's been playing for a while, but he was trying out the whole live in Lowsec off of nothing. He flew out with a shuttle and some blueprints and started doing a little bit of mining and was basically trying out what I did. And we had a great conversation, both of them at the same time, which is really kind of weird. Um, Here's the toughest part for me. I was about to tell the fellow that was in the local channel, you should just join the Five Bones channel. Now, this is named after my corporation, but it is not a corporation channel. Anyone can join it. Um, I do not recruit for my corporation. I don't have the time to run a corporation, to be honest with you, so I just named it that. But then the toughest part for me with doing the videos is I really love talking to people, but I am a true believer in allowing people to decide that they want to do things. So if you notice, a lot of times I'll say the Discord channel is available in the description, or I'll point out the Five Bones channel, but I don't really come out there and say, "Hey, come on and join." Because I'm not a recruiter. I'm not a salesman. I just so if you guys ever want to join in, there's some. We're slowly growing. It's not a huge number of people. Only 5 to 10 people that have joined and jump in and out. But the Five Bones channel is available. I've also got the Discord channel, and then obviously you can comment in the comment section. One funny part, a third person, if you watch yesterday's video, I actually got into a PvP fight, um, and found a PvP fight, and actually won again, and then mailed the person, and we got into a conversation there, and it was really cool. And if you want to watch the end of that, I made some mistakes in that fight, uh, and I was talking to a couple people after that, and I said, why I fly such cheap ships is I haven't learned to do the basics yet that would make me comfortable to fly an expensive ship like an assault frigate for PvP or something like that, or a cruiser or something like that. Simplest thing that happened in that fight was that, and if you want to check it out, I didn't have the overview set up. I haven't done that for PvP yet. And they were using drones against me. And I was actually having to move my cursor around the screen to catch their drone, to click it to shoot it. I was actually able to kill their drones. And I got down into structure, but they ran out of damage. And then I was able to draw range, but then keep track of their range, keep within that 20 kilometers of the warp disruptor, if I'm not mistaken. But really kind of a cool fight. I was flying the same ship that I flew the last time I did PvP, the very simple Punisher. I had built it, and I want to relook at the fit now that I've learned a few things, but I built it to be armor tanked, passively armor tanked, but with a lot of uh, defense. So the idea being that I wanted to get into a fight that would last a little bit longer so I could learn more, not to win, because it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. I just wanted to get the practice of fighting down and not just be killed in an instant by some of the guys that are out there. Ironically, I've gotten 2 wins with it, so still have a lot to learn before I start putting my money where my mouth is, and my mouth is everywhere. Oh, uh, I talk a lot, so but yeah, if you want to check that out, it's on the end of the last video. I really wasn't expecting. I had a lot of fun. I was really, really tired going into that fight too. Yesterday I'd gotten so much work done around the house, and I was just booting up and just looking for a fight, and I was planning on dying quick and doing the video done. Then by the end of it, my brain was just done. So, yeah, if you want to join any of the channels, or if you do want to comment, please do. Uh, and I actually talked to the person who I did the PvP with, because they're new to it too. And along with learning assault frigates, I'm going to work on that over the next week or two. Maybe long term, I had said to them, if you ever want to practice PvP, let me know. Now, I'm gonna work on maybe coming up with an idea for that, or if you guys have any ideas for that. Uh, it has to be simple. I'm gonna build a bunch of cheap ships. I didn't even realize I built another Punisher and another Rifter out here, so I got like 4 ships that I can get blown up in. Um, my simplest thought is to, if I wanted to PvP with someone, put a ISK limit on the cost of the ship. Um, Say, okay, you're allowed to build the ship, but it can only be 3 million ISK, or 20. Keep it low if we wanted to practice at low levels. Heck, you could even. I remember back in the day, somebody said a bunch of people built a bunch of Badgers, the what you call it, the industrial ships, and flew those around. They were battled badges. I know people do like battle procurers and stuff like that, like battle mining barges, but that would just be funny. But so that might be something down the road. Um, there was one other thing before I started doing the research on the two other things. Okay, hold on. Two other quick things. Hopefully, I get talking. Before I start looking at the assault frigates and the differences between them, and kind of come up with an initial plan on them. The first one being, I have actually started talking. I've been checking my regular Discord now. We had two new people join that. That's pretty cool. Um, but I've actually been going into the Eve chat Discord and dropping some messages into the FanFest um, uh, Discord channel that's there, and been getting some really good feedback from uh, guys who are in regular players, but also um, guys who work for CCP. So if you have any questions, they've answered a couple of them. I've actually been able to answer a few people because I'm watching way too many videos on going to Iceland. Um, so that is there. So if you ever want to check out Eve Online's Discord, I just found that one channel. I don't have the time or the pleasure to read all of the channels and keep up with it. I'd want to shoot myself. But that one channel is there for FanFest, and if I get any good information from that, I want to carry it over to the Discord channel for Flying with Planet Head, and I'll drop that in there if I find anything that's cool. Currently, got some good information about flights. Also, just kind of checking around about hotels and things like that. So, just I like getting good personal feedback. Not I like reading reviews and things like that, but I like to have somebody tell me what they did, and it's really kind of cool to do that. Uh, Last but not least, one of the guys today in one of the channels, I think it was the fellow that was in the Five Bones. He had actually asked me whatever happened to. Um, he started watching from the very beginning when I started doing YouTube channels, and someday I should do a history of the channels or the history of the videos because I think I'm over like 300 videos now. It's kind of sick. Never thought I'd have done that many. And they've progressed. They've started from one thing to give you. Not gonna spend a whole lot of time on this. Um, but I originally came on my like I did it. I created the channel because I wanted to learn how to make videos, and I used Eve as a uh, something to do the videos about. And my original thought on the channel was to do um, videos from first person view only. You know, that useless thing that you can literally fly in first person in Eve. I think I did like the first 4 or 5 videos on that. And then I just got frustrated and just started doing regular videos. Later on, a couple like next 20 videos I was trying to do instructional videos. After that, I decided I was going to move out to the Great Wildlands, I think, and I was messing around out there, and I had these not grandiose, but ideas of maybe creating a corporation and starting something there. And then it kind of ground to a halt last fall. But the corporation, if I remember correctly, was called the Five Cs. So if you want to check out those videos, I almost kind of want to go back and watch them. But I got other stuff I want to do. But I around this time a year ago, I was actually kind of off of making videos. I think I was like this. I stopped for a week or 2 or 3 because I just got tired a little bit. And there's other things that involve personally and stuff like that. And then around Christmas, I think it was almost Christmas Day, I came back and I thought, let's try something new. And it's the channel has changed a lot. But if you're ever wondering, if you ever see some of the old videos that I used to do, um, it's really morphed into this like almost daily blah 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 me talk talk talk. I was always afraid of doing that, um, but I kind of enjoy it, and it's fun. I don't have any grandiose plans. I just like trying different things out. And I was talking to the one fellow about it. And now it's basically I can come on and do what I want. I can look up assault frigates. I can go PvP fight. I can go into wormholes. I can mess around with a little planetary interaction. Haven't done that yet recently. I could do some research on some blueprints or different things like that. I could read up on the lore. And rather than have some grandiose plan, um, uh, I'm just having fun. Now, I do have the plan of making the Why Do You Play Eve um, 2023. I am going to make a new video on that. Hopefully, start it next weekend. Um, might mess around a little bit this week, but I almost have the intro for that set up. So I want to do it maybe a little bit more polished than what I normally do. We'll see. I had the same thoughts of doing that on the shed that I'm building outside. All right, so enough of me talking. Let's check out some assault frigates. Now, honestly, I don't know if there's any difference between them. Um, Currently, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to pull up the ship tree. I am skilled into being able to fly both Minmatar and I think Amar assault frigates. Let's check it out and make sure. Yes. So, do I need to zoom in here? There we go. So, assault frigates. Now, the one thing I need to focus on is it looks like there's normally two different types of assault frigates. I mostly want to focus on assault frigates that use guns. I made a point whenever I started working with this character that it was focused on shooting guns, not drones, not missiles, just guns. Then I picked Minmatar and Amar because they're two diverse different types of ships. And so I could try out two different styles going along. Um, so with the lasers and uh, the projectile guns. Now I could have gone at some point. I will switch over and do Galente and Caldari, but they both use um, hybrid weapons, and I've fallen into a pattern of going with hybrid guns and drones multiple times with characters in the past. Now I'm focused on one character, and I want to do this. So let's take a look at our assault frigates. We've got the Retribution, which it's got bonuses to small energy turrets, and looks like the Vengeance. Now the Vengeance has rocket and missile damage. We're not going to worry about that. Now down the road I could. I want to focus on the ones that I'm really skilled up at, and all my gun skills are either at fours and fives. So when I do it, so we're going to go. We're going to keep an eye on the Vengeance. Let's hit our handy dandy thing there. Okay, so that's the Vengeance. Now Minmatar. All I'm really going to do is pull these up and give my initial thoughts on them, and then maybe the next video I do, or the one after that, I'll start trying to buy one and fit one out in a general basis. If you guys have flown any, if you have any generic fits that you want to send over to me or put them in the comment section, you can either mail me in game at William Pilgrim, or you can post them in the comment section where everybody can see them. I'm going to post them anyway if you mail them to me. Um, so let's see here. The Minmatar assault frigates, we've got the Wolf, that is small projectile turret, so that's good. And missiles for the Jaguar. So we want to go with the Wolf is the counterpart to the other one. So let's pull them up next to each other. Ah! I didn't want that. There we go. Okay. I know there's a way that I can pull these up similarly, but let's start off with the traits and see if there's any major differences. So, assault frigate for the Minmatar, the Wolf, you've got a 10% bonus to fall off and 5% bonus to damage for small projectile weapons. And um, the Retribution has small energy turret, optimal range, and damage. So the big thing here is optimal range versus fall off. Your damage is the same per level of assault frigate. Um, let's look down here. Ooh, looks like a big difference here as far as your Minmatar frigate skill. Both of them, mine are at level 5. So let's see here. My damage is a 5 bonus on the wolf, whereas my activation cost is lower on the small energy turret. Now that's important because it doesn't cost you as much capacitor to fire your guns being laser, whereas a projectile turret does more damage. Now the projectile turret also gets a 7.5% bonus in turret tracking speed. So might be better for just off the top of my head, there's certain drones that fly really quickly. That might be really helpful to being able to shoot them. Um, whereas the small energy turret gets a rate of fire bonus. So that is your bonus to your damage, but you're firing faster versus doing more specific damage. A way to look at that, and I'm just spitballing here, is if you were going with projectile turret damage, if you were trying to one-shot somebody, that would be big. Whereas rate of fire, if you were going for overall firing, over time they probably do the same amount of damage, but your shot with your damage bonuses might be a little bit more with your wolf because it's got a 5% bonus to damage here and a 5% bonus to here. So a total of 10% total if you got these maxed out. Uh, and down below, and this is your assault damage. We'll come back to that later. That is the assault damage controller that I keep getting off of these guys I kill, these NPCs that I kill out here in um, Iridia. So it's kind of why I'm messing around with this. Now, what I'm going to try to do whenever I build one of these guys, and I'm going to decide tonight, well, I'll decide by tomorrow which one I want to make and fit first. I'm probably going to do both. Is the ultimate goal is to be able, I'll test them out on clone soldiers that are out here and see how well I can do with those and see what the damage difference is versus maybe fighting them with a um, uh, what should we call it, a destroyer. Now the biggest difference here I'm noticing with the Retribution is its sister ship, the smaller the Punisher, that gets a bonus to its armor defense for the frigate bonuses here. There is none here, but you do get the assault damage control. So interested to see how that works out. That's something I will probably delve into in a video later on this week as I mess around with these and try them out for the first time. Let's see here. Descriptions. There's a big lot of words there. Boundless creation, blah, blah, blah. Boundless creation ships. Okay, you can read that when you want to. So, structure hip. Ooh, so the Retribution has about 25% more structure um, hit points. There's more capacity for the wolf, but that's not a big deal because the wolf would have to carry around ammo, whereas the Retribution doesn't. Um, now, the now a big difference here is between this and like the Punisher. If you've noticed with the Punisher, I actually use um, I with my current Punisher, I'm using projectile weapons. It really wouldn't do you a whole lot of good to switch off to other weapons unless you're just trying to weird somebody out, because you get so many bonuses for using projectile weapons for the Wolf and laser weapons for the Retribution. Um, there. So we got an inertial modifier of 3.5, 3.4. If you're wondering, the inertial modifier affects acceleration and turning speed and positively as the value decreases. So in other words, the Wolf turns faster and accelerates faster than the Retribution. There's a big difference there, 3.4 versus 4.1. And then we're looking at armor hit points. So armor hit points are less for the Wolf than they are for the Retribution. So we're seeing a major. This is literally the first time I'm looking at it, but in general, so far I've seen more structure hit points for base structure hit points for the Retribution, more armor hit points for the Retribution, about 25% of both. But the Wolf, um, turns and accelerates faster. So you're talking about a quicker ship versus a faster ship. Now here's the interesting one. The shield capacity on a Wolf is more, so your shield is a little bit larger than the Retribution. So this is your armor tank. This is your shield tank, most likely. Most likely, this is initial thoughts. Now let's look at the flip-flop. The flip-flop here is the damage types that each one can take. Ooh, so that's interesting. So if you notice right here, shield EM damage resistance is 0 for the Retribution. Whereas it's got an 87.5 shield for explosive. So definitely want to watch out. Now it's got a 50%, so it is really susceptible to EM damage. That's kind of the other cool part here is as I fly these, I'll get to learn them. So if I fight against them, I can maybe look for some weak points. Notice how your thermal and your EM damage is very low for your retribution. Now that can be compensated for by things put into the ship, but still you're never going to get it as high as 87 and 80%. You almost guaranteed don't want to shoot anything that does explosive damage against a retribution. Now looks like the Wolf might be a little bit more well-rounded. Now it's definitely got a opening here in your explosive damage on your armor, but since the Wolf we've already said has more shield protection, it's also got a well-rounded shield protection. So in other words, and I'm just spitballing here again, if you broke through somebody's shields on a Wolf, then they're probably going to die anyway. So there's no real reason to go with the armor hit points. And they're pretty well rounded. The lowest here is 40% for kinetic, 50, 60, 75. So you throw on a shield, uh, multi-level shield protector on that, where it could cover all of them. Your damage control is going to help out with that with multiple. Is it multispectral? I don't know if that's the right name for it, but that could really help with your shield capacity there. And it's a lot tougher. There's no major hole here. There is a slate hole with a kinetic, but that's important to me because so as if I were to fight a Wolf, I would know that they're probably shield tanks, so I want to do something to go after that. If they are shield tanked, they're quicker, but are they shield extended or shield resistant? Because if they're shield extended, then that would mean that they are more susceptible to being hit. Wow, I just rattle off a bunch of stuff I never could have done like 3 weeks ago, or well, I might have been able to 3 weeks ago, but last but not least, so that's just some general stuff I'm kind of going through here. So we're going shield, armor, watch out, and then focus on the types of guns. Good. Signature radius. Smaller values increase the time to lock onto the ship. Pretty close to the same, 35 meters versus 33 meters, except if they put on a shield extender, their signature radius is going to go up. Scan resolution. Increase input locking, target locking speed. Fine there. And then their sensor strength. They have different types of sensors there. Maximum speed. Wow, there's a big difference there. 375 meters per second versus 275 meters per second for the retribution. So 100 meters per second. So again, almost like a 30% regular velocity speed difference. So that said, let's go into the fittings real quick. Fitting. CPU output, similar. Power grid, much lower for the Wolf, but was that important in regards to the, that's interesting. Sorry, need to stop for a second. Okay. Power grid is 62 versus 48. calibration, same. Now, how many slots are there? There's 5 high-powered slots for both. All the slots are the same. I'm going to get to that here in a second. That's what I stopped for a second. But if you notice, the Wolf has 4 turret spots and then 1 extra slot here that could be a missile slot. Whereas the Retribution has 4 turret slots, but you cannot put missiles onto it. Now, whether or not that's important or not, I don't know. I need to check one other thing. Attributes. I don't think that either one of these guys has drone capacity. No, I didn't think with an assault frigate. That wouldn't seem right to me. Okay. Good. So there's the important part. You can get 1 extra weapon slot on there versus the Retribution only has 4 weapon slots. All of them have to be guns, but it does have a 5th slot. So you'd want to figure out something to throw into that 5th slot that can help you. Whether or not that's something that can leech, do things to the other guy, I don't know. But definitely important there. Okay, high power slots, same. All of these are the same. The number of slots they have, high, medium, and low. Why is that important? Well, normally your shield protection goes in their middle slot, and then your armor protection goes into your low slot. Now, both of them only have 2, so a Retribution can tank up hard onto the armor. Remember, it was more armor based. Whereas the Wolf only has 2 middle slots, and those are mostly focused on shields. And if you're going to go with a shield tank Wolf, you're only going to have you can shield tank it with your rigs, and mostly you're going to shield tank it in the middle. And one of those probably needs to be a prop mod, an afterburner or a micro warp drive. So then you're limiting yourself to one other spot. Do you do a shield extender? Do you just rely on your natural resistances and go with speed? Do you use a web of fire on the other guy so you can get away if you want to? It's a lot of differences there. Wow. So that's your tough one there. This one is very tanky. I think I could tank that out similar to the Punisher. Obviously, things that you can do with it. And then also your low slots are going to be used to, if you're doing guns, that's where you would throw in your gun bonuses, I think it's your heat sinks for your Retribution. And it's not gyro stabilizer. Can I do it? Can I think of it? I can't think of it. The one for projectile weapons might be gyro stabilizer. I don't know. There's one for each one. I think the gyro stabilizer is for hybrid weapons. So that's where you'd also throw in your damage dealing. But do you need as many damage dealers in this one? Because you've got the 5-point bonus with the Wolf. So very interesting there. And is there anything that you can do with a shield down there? I'm very interested to see what fits are out there. Tomorrow I might go on to Z Killboard and do some searches through ships that have been destroyed and see what the fits were like there and maybe come up with a basic assault frigate setup. So I honestly, this has already gone over 30 minutes. I've not chosen yet. I'm going to get both of these at some point in time, but I'm not sure which one I want to do first. Since I've been going Minmatar, boy, I had a lot of fun on that Punisher. This is tough. Maybe I'll just go by whichever one I have the best skin for. Okay. Hey, I talked a lot tonight. I'm going to go out and shoot some stuff and make some IS so I can buy this ship. Um, really appreciate you guys joining in with me. If you want to, just contact me. If you have any ideas or thoughts on anything that I talked about tonight, please feel free. I would like to keep doing some videos later on this week. I will be hitting my work week, so if they're sporadic, great. If I don't have anything to talk about, I won't make a video. But I think I will just because I'll be doing some research on these, so I might have some more on that. But other than that, hey, that's all I got. So Fly safe, fly dangerously, fly however that you want. And guys, I will talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye bye.